Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a knife video for you. Today we're just doing a fairly simple little modification here. We are going to take the bearings out of this um, reconnaissance knives Adzin and replace them with Skiff bearings. I've had a couple of knives with Skiff bearings and they tend to do a really good job. And I have to say, I'm pretty stoked that these exist. I can't tell you how many times in a review I have said, hey, this is a great knife. I wish it had multi-row bearings. And with the Skiff bearings, you get the option with a lot of knives, okay? Sometimes there's not enough space to fit them in, but with a lot of knives, you can fit Skiff bearings in, and they specifically make a bunch of different sizes and a bunch of different variations so that, sort of have the best possible chance of being able to put them in. So, without further ado, I'm gonna pause this for a second, open this up so you can take a look at the inside, and then, we'll be able to sort of see these bearings drop in. Then I'll put it back together, and we'll, add some KPL. Actually, I'll do that in the process of putting it back together, and I'll also clean anything up that I find along the way, in terms of dirt and grime or whatever, just to neaten up that pivot. And then we'll reflect a little bit at the end on how the whole thing went down. So without further ado, let's start. By the way, the two most used tools that I have are the Weehaw bits, one in this little Boker set, which is fantastic, and then a larger bit set over here. Somewhere here, I have an Amazon set as well. It's not within immediate arm's reach, and I don't think I'm going to need it for this anyway. So why don't we go ahead and we'll get started. Just going to do a quick check here and yeah, so this is going to be a T8. Better make sure I'm not lying to you. I didn't actually pull the bit out and look at it. Yep, that's a T8. So T8 in both of these. I happen to know that this is not a captured bearing, I mean, captured pivot, which is kind of annoying. I wish that was just kind of standard procedure at this point, but sadly it isn't. That's a 10. So I'm going to hold on. I can't find the bit I want, so I'm going to be right back, and we'll take this apart. So I will say, this is not being caged. You do need two tools to get it going. Also, these are really shallow, and that's a little unfortunate. I guess not really shallow. I've seen worse, but they're not as deep as they could be, which is never a lot of fun. All right, so we're going to pop these out. And then we'll carry on with the rest of the disassembly. So there's the pivot right there. You can see there's already a little bit of oil in there. And I'm just going to let the other side drop. Now, when I do these disassemblies for my own sort of well-being, I organize everything. So I sort of imagine the knife is like this, and then everything on the lock side goes here, everything on the show side goes here, and it just helps me later for putting things back together. I'm going to carry on. We'll come back in a second when I've got this taken down. Okay, so here we are with the knife fully taken down. There's the back spacer. It was the only thing left out of frame. You can see there is this locating pin, which is a great move. Here are the original bearings. And if I can get this little bag open, which I'm working hard at. Here are the replacement bearings. You can see there's a pretty big difference, but you can also see that does drop in there pretty nicely. Okay, I don't want to put that in quite yet because I'm going to just take things out and just clean everything up a little. Then we'll come back, drop the bearings in, and carry on from there. And yes, I do pause this all the time because one, I don't want you to sit here and just listen to me breathe into the mic, which is essentially what I do. Whenever I'm concentrating on something, I go completely quiet. Unlike some other YouTubers, I just can't talk while I'm trying to do something that requires any kind of attention. Okay, so everything is taken apart, everything has been cleaned, everything has been lubricated, and I'm going to go ahead and start putting this back together. I am also going to save these original bearings. Whoop, it was nice to sit on my finger so I could show you. I'm also going to save these original bearings so that I've always got the option. There. And now let's go ahead with putting this thing back together. Okay, we're all back together and cleaned up. The new bearings are in. You can see right there. Come on. Action is quite nice. Centering is very good. I would call that a success. Pretty darn happy with that. I must say I've been using and carrying this knife for a little while now, and I do rather enjoy it. It's a little on the small side, and that's, we're about a week and a half in, and that is starting to bother me just a little. Um, I kind of wish this was a little bit bigger than it is. It's not the end of the world. I'm not deeply bothered by it, but I am just a little bit bothered by it. Um, Nonetheless, I do enjoy this quite a bit, and I do feel like the skiff bearings in there just make things feel a little more solid, and they do actually. I'm gonna have to give it a break in time before I can say that it really improves the action, but it definitely makes it feel a little more hydraulic than before, and that's kind of expected with the increased surface area with the dual row bearings. I have to say I kind of love this, and skiff bearings are pretty reasonable in terms of price point, so I could see doing this with a lot of knives, and I do think it's a substantial upgrade. In fact, they have done some testing. There are some Shirogoro videos from a few years ago. Let me clean this up now that I've got my oily fingers all over it. Um, there were some Shirogoro videos from a number of years ago where they put weight on the pivot and tested various bearing systems. And as you would expect, when you increase surface area, it does strengthen the the knife overall and allow it to be a little more stable in terms of side to side movement and overall wear and tear as well. So I do think the skiff bearings, the dual row, is a great option. I'm hoping there's a couple of wee knives that I'd like to add skiff bearings to and see if that makes a difference in there. Probably a long list of wee knives that you could do that to. Anyway, in terms of the reconnaissance knives, Adzin, this worked out pretty well, and the bearings that fit were these here. So 6 millimeter, 1/16 balls, and 16 ball, and the thickness is there at 0.05 thousandths. So um, if you wanted to do this for yourself, that would be the bearings you would pick up for this knife. Um, it is kind of, you've got to put in a little bit of research to figure out exactly what bearings fit, unless you can do like this and find a video where someone else has done the exact same thing you want to do, and just, if it works, copy whatever they did. So if that's an inch of interest to you, you'll be able to copy this one, or Lefty EDC, who did the same thing. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We will talk to you soon.